Hello, Silo Fan Club. Apple TV's new series, Silo, has garnered considerable attention within post-apocalyptic communities. It presents a fascinating setting where people reside in expansive underground silos due to the hazardous and lethal conditions outside. The concept is intriguing, and the execution thus far appears impeccable. However, if you're curious about the future direction of the show, we can provide you with precise details because it's actually based on a post-apocalyptic science fiction book series authored by Hugh Howey. The Silo series comprises 3 books, and the initial installment titled Wool introduces us to the world and establishes the core themes. The second book, Shift, serves as a prequel to the first, delving into the reasons behind the downfall and offering insight into the series' backstory. Finally, the concluding book, Dust, picks up where the first book left off and provides a grand finale to the entire series. In this video, we'll be seeing about the Wool book, which probably will be the end of Season 1 of the Apple TV show. We'll be discussing the summary of the book and give it complete essence, which matches the series. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video as we are going to give you what might happen at the end of Silo Season 1. But before moving on, make sure to like the video and subscribe to Flick Spoilers for such never-before awesome content. Now, without any further ado, let's jump in. In Book 1, we meet Holston, the sheriff of Silo 18, a vast underground community where people reside due to a toxic external environment. Communication with the outside world is maintained via a camera cleaned by rule breakers who are punished with death. Motivated by a longing to reunite with his missing wife Allison, who disappeared during a similar cleaning task, Holston isolates himself and volunteers to clean the cameras, a highly unusual act for a sheriff. Allison had become convinced that the outside world would remain inhabitable and had ventures out to explore, but she never returned. When Holston steps outside, he initially witnesses a thriving, verdant world, but quickly begins to suffocate. Realizing that the outside is truly lifeless and barren, he discovers the camera has been projecting a deceptive illusion. Holston then collapses beside Allison and perishes. In the proper gauge part, Mayor Johns of Silo 18 seeks a new sheriff and considers Juliette, a young mechanic. With Deputy Marnes, she heads to the engineering section, bonding with him and regretting not marrying him sooner. Juliette's family tragedy led her to abandon the upper floors after her brother's death and her mother's suicide caused by an incubator malfunction. Now she pursues a mechanical career. On floor 33, they meet Bernard, the IT head who opposes Juliette. They reach the mechanical section where she explains the need for generator maintenance, temporarily leaving the silo without power. In the aftermath, Sheriff Juliette investigates Mayor John's murder and reflects on her past involvement with Holston and another case. Acting Mayor Bernard becomes a suspect. Juliette connects with Lucas and uncovers a warning in Holston's files, possibly related to cleaning. Marnes tragically dies, leaving Juliette with guilt and questions. She trains Peter as the new deputy and suspects Allison found crucial information. Scotty, her shadow, sends urgent messages and later dies by suicide. Arrested, Juliette realizes Scotty was murdered. Walker then confirms her suspicions about IT's control. Later, Hank arrests Juliette, but she receives cryptic notes from Mechanical. Contemplating resistance, she discovers a deceptive program in her helmet's visor. The faulty cleaning suits were intentional, but she aims to defy the rule. Bernard awaits Juliette's cleaning, but she deviates from the protocol. Worried, he contacts another silo about Silo 18. Juliette survives the cleaning and ventures into the unknown, surpassing previous cleaners. Still grieving, Lucas considers suicide, but finds hope in the news of the cleaning, wondering if Bernard saved Juliette. Walker breaks the routine to discuss Juliette's departure. Juliette resists IT's illusion, realizes her suit's durability, witnesses desolation, and finds another silo. Lucas keeps her belongings, but Juliette encounters dead cleaners, struggles to enter a silo, and finds relief in survival. Walker then reveals his involvement, sparking uprising potential. We see Lucas delivers Juliette's belongings to Bernard, who offers him a position. Juliette fights through Silo and finds solace in surviving. Knox rallies Mechanical with tensions, but gains support. Bernard then shows Lucas a hidden server room, and Knox plans an attack on IT. But Lucas and Bernard discover hidden silos and chaos from the failed cleaning. Bernard gives then Lucas a key and order to study. Juliette meets Solo, learning the silo's purpose. But before moving on to part 5, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and smash the subscribe button. Now, let us move on to the most awaited part 5, the probable ending of Silo Season 1. In the midst of a chaotic conflict involving mechanical, supply, and IT, numerous casualties have occurred, with Knox and McLean losing their lives. Mark and the remaining survivors retreat, desperately trying to escape IT's relentless pursuit, only to encounter locked doors and leaving behind a wounded comrade. Hours pass, tensions escalate between mechanical and supply, and Mark is reunited with his wife, Shirley. At the entrance to mechanical, they find themselves in a deadly confrontation, leading Mark to make a selfless sacrifice to save others. Several weeks later, Walker, consumed by regret, reflects on his role in the uprising. Lucas and Bernard discuss their future plans, while Lucas secretly communicates with Juliette from Silo 17. Walker diligently repairs the radio, engaging in an imaginary conversation with Scotty. Shirley assists him and reveals a dispute between Harper and Jenkins regarding the decision to cut off power to Silo. Eventually, the radio starts functioning, and they overhear a conversation mentioning Deputy Roberts. Juliette scours for materials and focuses on creating a suit to enable underwater breathing. As she embarks on exploring the flooded depths of the silo for quicker drainage, she encounters unsettling scenes. Lucas finds himself trapped in a monotonous routine of reading, sleeping, and eating. Shirley and Walker intercept transmissions from other silos, but their workshop comes under attack, forcing them to retreat. Juliette prepares to dive underwater wearing the specialized suit. Lucas struggles to comprehend the order and questions Bernard about the origins of the silo. Bernard dismisses the significance of its origins, emphasizing the importance of understanding the order to effectively manage the silo. With determination to aid Silo 18, Juliette descends into the flooded bottom of the silo, battling doubts and facing difficulties with her suit, all while realizing her air supply is depleting. Shirley and Walker set up the radio to intercept transmissions from other silos, and to their surprise, they hear Juliette's voice attempting to reach Silo 17. Eager to respond, they urgently search for a transmitter, but their efforts are hampered by an imminent explosion. Shirley rushes to the mining storehouse, locates the transmitters, and narrowly escapes the blast. Juliette perseveres in her struggle to resurface, utilizing trapped air bubbles for temporary respiration until she eventually discovers Solo, injured but alive. In the bunk room, Lucas gains insight into the origins of Silo through Bernard's revelations, which include a plan to create a homogeneous population. Despite harboring anger toward their ancestors, Bernard emphasizes the necessity of safeguarding the silos. Meanwhile, Juliette tends to Solo's injuries and discovers the presence of other individuals, including numerous children in the abandoned silo. Restless and waiting for a call from Juliette, Lucas studies the schematics of the silo. He stumbles upon a poem written by Juliette addressed to someone named George, triggering feelings of jealousy. Using his IT credentials, Lucas investigates George and uncovers evidence suggesting his demise. Juliette and Solo face difficulties while ascending the stairs, but eventually encounter a group of children in another silo, joining forces with them. They establish communication with Walker, Courtney, and Shirley from the control room. Juliette passionately appeals for an end to the fighting and pleads with them to abort a plan that could harm Lucas. And finally, Lucas confronts Bernard about George's murder, inadvertently revealing his own desire to leave the bunk room. In her pursuit to utilize the radio, Juliette realizes the true purpose behind the oppressive rules of the silo. And that's how the book ends, and we hope the Silo writers are also in pursuit of ending the season with such a banger. So that was the video, guys. We hope it gave you an idea of how Silo Season 1 might end, and it's a theory from our side, and we too hope it ends in such a fashion. If you liked our theory of how Silo ends, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. This is Flick Spoilers, signing off. Until next time.